I'm 26 years old. I've been married to Mark for 3 years. And everything I'm about to tell you began 2 summers ago. The year his younger brother, Jake, started staying at our house every time Mark traveled for work. I never imagined I'd be the kind of woman who could carry a secret like this. But secrets don't start heavy, they grow. And if you want to know how far mine went, how it felt to live inside it, and what finally shattered it, hit subscribe, leave a comment and stay with me. Mark and I live in a quiet cul-de-sac just outside Charlotte. White fence, 2-car garage. The kind of place that looks peaceful even when it isn't. Mark is a regional sales manager. Gone 3 to 5 days almost every other week. The first time Jake showed up, Mark had already kissed me goodbye at the airport. I was alone, folding laundry, when the doorbell rang. Jake stood there in a worn hoodie, duffel over one shoulder, holding a pizza like a peace treaty. Mark said, "You hate eating alone." He shrugged. I laughed because it was true, and I let him in. That night we sat on the back deck past midnight, the fire pit snapping softly, crickets loud in the dark. Jake talked about grad school, about designing solar roofs, about growing up in his brother's shadow. I listened with a glass of wine warming my palm, noticing how the firelight caught in his eyes. When he refilled my glass, our fingers brushed. Just for a second. But the air shifted. I went to bed with my heart racing like I'd done something wrong, without actually doing anything at all. The next morning Mark FaceTimed from Atlanta. Jake was in the kitchen shirtless because the AC had failed again, flipping pancakes. I angled the phone so Mark only saw me. Mark laughed, told his brother to put a shirt on. I laughed too loudly. Jake winked over the griddle. Heat crawled up my neck. Nothing had happened. Yet the house no longer felt the same, and then the pattern formed. Mark would leave before dawn. Jake would text, pizza or Thai. He'd arrive with takeout and beer, drop his bag in the guest room, and we'd settle into an easy rhythm. Movies on the couch, knees brushing, then not brushing away. I told myself it was harmless. Family, trust, control. But I started counting down Mark's trips like holidays. I'd catch myself in the mirror choosing softer dresses, scolding my reflection. "You're married. Stop it." Still, every time Jake's Jeep rolled into the driveway, my stomach flipped like I was a teenager again. The first time we crossed the line, a storm did it for us. Thunder shook the windows. The power went out. We played cards on the floor by candlelight. He leaned close to prove the deck was fair, his face inches from mine. I smelled rain on his skin. I don't know who moved first. Maybe neither of us meant to. But suddenly his hand was on my cheek, and when our mouths met, the storm moved inside my chest. We broke apart, breathless. "We can't," I whispered. "He knows," Jake said, but his eyes said he wouldn't stop. We didn't go further that night. He simply took my hand and held it while rain battered the roof. I waited for shame. It didn't come. Only warmth, and a terrible wanting. After that, never again became a lie that got quieter with every trip. Mark's absences grew longer. Jake's overnight bag replaced his duffel like he belonged. We created rituals, Tuesday dinners dancing beside boiling pasta, swaying until music faded, and all that remained was breath and tension. Some nights I pulled away. Other nights I didn't. The first time we shared a bed, I had woken from a nightmare convinced Mark was home. Jake found me shaking in the hallway and held me until sleep returned. I woke to sunlight and his fingers tracing slow circles across my shoulder. "Nothing has to happen," he whispered. "But what if I want it?" I asked. His answer was a kiss that felt like surrender. We were careful, too careful. Every touch was both promise and apology. Guilt lived in the mirror. Jake lived in everything else. We made rules. No marks, no text that could be saved, never our bed. We broke the last one the night I collapsed crying in the closet after Mark called with another delayed flight. Jake carried me to the master bedroom because it was closer, and for the first time I didn't resist. After we lay in silence beneath the ceiling fan. "This is destroying me," I whispered. "Me too," he said, and neither of us stopped. The lies thickened. Hidden notes. Stolen hours. Close calls. Months Mark surprised me with an early return while Jake was still in the shower. Another time Mark brought me roses after nearly discovering everything. I made love to my husband that night, with Jake's name echoing in my head. Jake wanted to confess. I threw him out. He stayed gone 9 days. Longest 9 days of my life. When he returned in the rain, we unraveled on the laundry room floor, shaking and silent. By Christmas we knew each other's bodies like memory. When Mark planned a New Year's trip for just the two of us, Jake's face hardened. In Aspen, Mark proposed again, with a bigger ring, deeper promises. I said yes with my heart in Colorado. When I chose Jake openly for the first time, the affair exploded into real life. 5 days hidden together, no lies, no hiding, just us. Until the guilt followed us into every quiet moment. Mark found the shoebox. Notes scattered at his feet like wreckage. The look on his face wasn't anger. It was grief. He called Jake to the house, punched him once. Left without another word. 3 days later I told Mark the truth. Every version of it. When he asked if I loved his brother, I said yes. And I said I loved him too. He moved out that weekend. Jake and I tried to build something from what we'd broken. It didn't last. Without secrecy, the fire died. Guilt filled the space where desire once lived. I ended it on a Tuesday. We cried like people who had already lost everything. Now I live alone. Mark and I meet for coffee. He's healing. So am I. Jake moved away. Some nights I still dream of firelight and thunderstorms and hands that once felt like home. Secrets don't just break relationships. They rewrite who you are. If you've ever stood between two lives, tell me in the comments. What would you have done? And if this story stayed with you, subscribe. There's more truth ahead.